Good Monday morning. I have a question for you. What do you wish your dad would have taught you when you were growing up if your dad was there? Put it in the comments and let me know. I'm curious. I thought about that. When I was growing up, my dad wasn't there. My parents divorced, actually separated before I was even born. Grew up with no dad in the home. I did have older siblings. So I got some incorrect ideas on what it's like to be a man. Just kidding. Older siblings. But I did have some men in my life that were good examples for me, and they helped me a lot. One in particular is Mark Gould. I've dedicated this effort to Mark because he was there for me as a dad when I was growing up. Mark was an important part of my life. When I was telling someone about Mark, they said, well, did he teach you some specific things? Did he have like a curriculum that he wanted you to learn that he felt like you should know? And the answer is no, he didn't. He was just a good example for me, helped me, answered my questions when I needed them. But that question got me thinking, if I was helping a young man growing up who didn't have his dad with him, are there specific things that I would want him to know and understand? And the answer to that is yes. In fact, that's what I've written about in the book, The Map to Manhood. I wish I could tell you, go order this book now. I want it to be as effective as possible. Consequently, with your help, some of you that donated 6 months ago, I got the cover design done and I paid for a couple of rounds of professional editing. What that results in is some rewrite. And that's good because that means it'll be better. But unfortunately, that means it's not yet available to order. But I'm hoping in the coming months you can even pre-order it. So what are some of those things that you would want to learn from a dad if you had your dad in your day in life? What do you wish your dad had taught you? Whether you had your dad in your life and he was just passive, or whether you didn't even have a dad, or worse yet, if your dad was abusive, verbally, emotionally, or physically, and you have a real negative concept of what fatherhood is. What do you wish you would have learned from your dad? I will tell you what I think the most important lesson that you need to learn growing up without a dad, and I've written about it in the book. It's this. You need to learn to love yourself. One of the biggest challenges you're going to face is, if my dad doesn't love me, something must be wrong with me. And if you have that idea and that thought in your mind, it's going to be very hard for you to feel good about yourself and to love yourself. And that's going to slow you down in just about every aspect of your life. Now, it doesn't mean you can't survive, because men are doing it right now. Some of you watching this have been doing it your whole lives. You're surviving, but you haven't really come to grips with understanding that there's nothing wrong with you because your dad wasn't there for you. That doesn't mean something's wrong with you, and it's not easy to overcome that challenge, but you can. What I've written about in here is based on the experiences that I've had through a lot of work, internal work, a lot of coaching, a lot of help from others, to learn to overcome that negative self-image because your dad's not in your daily life and you've concluded that that means something's wrong with you. Well, don't worry, because you can get over it, but it's gonna take some work. That's what I think the biggest lesson that you and anyone that grew up without their dad is gonna struggle with, and they need to learn that you can still be a good person. It's not your fault that your dad wasn't there. And you can choose to be a good dad, a good husband, a good father, if you want to, and you can figure out how to do it. And you can be healthy, and you can be the dad for your kids that you didn't have when you were growing up. If you haven't downloaded the Map to Manhood, you can go get the Map to Manhood, not the book yet, but the graphic. You can get the graphic of the Map to Manhood. It shows all the milestones, the different actions, and you can start working on them now. So if you haven't gone to maptomanhood.org, go to maptomanhood.org, download it, and go to work. And remember that you can succeed, even though your dad may not have been in your daily life. And you do have a dad that loves you. And I'll see you on the next video.